from Half Lit. What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and Dope Living TV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man, Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey. Welcome, everyone. We are back with more Distinguished Authors Guild nominees. Man, I don't know about you, but I have been having the heck of a time, and I have been enjoying speaking with them, learning about their journey, finding out about them personally. This has just been such an awesome time for me. But before we continue, I'm going to bring my people on. But I want to make sure everyone knows that the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. So we got some talented people on here again tonight. We're going to talk about their journey. We're going to talk about the reason they wrote those books. You know, there's always a story behind the story. We've heard some heart-wrenching stories. We've heard some happy stories. We've heard some funny stories. We even heard about the shower head. Yes. So there's no telling what we're going to hear about tonight. Let's bring on my sister from another mother. Let's bring her on because she is waiting for me. Come on, Marcy.
Not the shower head.
The shower head girl.
Wow.
And if you guys haven't heard about the shower head, you need to go download the book because it's free and it's I don't want to say freaky, but it sounds freaky.
I'm scared.
You scared?
I'm scared. That doggone Natalie.
You know, I don't know what's going on in Natalie here, but she needs to get on that couch.
True.
Greg said shower head. Go back to the previous show when we heard about the shower head. Download it.
We were happy book. He was not on that day.
Yeah. Oh, he would have ran with that. Definitely.
Oh, it would have been a true X-rated show that day.
Marcy, I know that some of these books you've read because just about every day that the authors have come on, you've read about 2 or 3 of those books.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, Marcy is one of the Distinguished Authors Guild's readers. So she has a library filled with D.A.G books. She gives me feedback. It's based on certain criteria. And based on that criteria, those books are nominated for Distinguished Authors Guild Literary Award. Now, there was approximately 100 or more entries, and there were about 37 nominees. So I know from the feedback you've given me, Marcy, these books are off the chain.
They are. Yes. And it's, it's refreshing, to read, and they're good books. They're really good books. I read a lot, and I've had some books that I just want to put down.
Man.
What?
Yes. Books that you just want to put, or you feel like I just wasted 2 or 3 days reading this book, and you just fell off a cliff. It was like, what? Right.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure if
we
I read any of today's books.
well,
I
let's
gotta
see.
look to see. Yeah.
Let's bring on these talented authors and see if
Mhm.
any of these books are those that you've read. Let's bring on our first author, author Teresa Hickman, and the name of your book is I Can Just Try. That's an
That's
affirmation,
good.
girl.
You know it.
And that look like that's
I love it.
a children's book too, right?
Yes, it's a
Oh,
children's book.
love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
Hey, that's a step up. Matter of fact, that's 10 steps up from the train. What is it? The train that can? What was that? What was that
Oh,
we were brought up
yeah,
on?
I remember it. I
Yeah,
can't
I think
remember
I
the
can.
exact
Oh,
title though.
I think I can. That is 10 steps up from that because
yeah,
that title alone gives any not just children but anyone affirmation
Yes,
yeah.
that and you can do it. Just keep trying. You could do it, and I love that. I
Mhm.
absolutely love it.
thank
I
you.
do as well. Yes.
Well, we have our next author on, and who do we have? Nadia. Now, Nadia, I'm gonna try to pronounce your last name. If I say it wrong, please forgive me. Nadia Francois.
Francois,
Francois.
you didn't know? I went to school.
Can handle that one.
Yeah, I went to school with a guy by that. That was his first name, Francois.
That's a beautiful name,
Mm-hmm. French,
Francois. It just seems
French,
so la la la.
so Frenchy.
So Frenchy. And the title of your book is What's Your Superpower? Actually, you had two books nominated. What's Your Superpower and A Mother's Prayer, Love Letters to My Daughter. Man,
Aw.
how could you not love that book? If you have a daughter, how could you not love that book?
Mm.
Man. When I read the title, every time I hear it, I think of my daughter. Love Letters to My Daughter. Man. I can't wait to
Oh,
hear
we
this one.
definitely need to talk
I
about that.
can't wait to hear this one. That is crazy. Man, our next author. Let's see
Mhm.
who we got next. Shayna Gordine.
Hello.
Shayna, I love
Hello.
Shayna. Shayna is such a beautiful person. She has given me the pleasure of being on her platform, which is also international. So I'm international,
All
y'all.
right now.
And the name of her book is Masking in Your Brokenness. But I know you have several books because uh Shayna has been a nominee of Distinguished Authors Guild in the past. We have a probably 3 or 4 year relationship.
Yes,
Yes, yes. So welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. And I know you have a story behind your book too.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's see who else we have. We have a lot of authors here today.
Okay.
Michael Bailey. How you doing, Michael?
Hello.
I'm doing good, ladies. How are all of you doing today?
We're doing
Great,
awesome. Now,
great,
this book, I'm dying to hear what made you give this book its name. Because the name of your book is Original Mind Disconnect.
Right,
And I'm
right,
like, disconnect. Most of the time we talk about connecting, connecting with things, connecting with people.
right,
But you
right,
said Original Mind Disconnect.
I can kind of picture that,
right.
So
but I
I
want
know
to hear
there's a
what he
story
says.
behind that, but I want to
Hmm.
hear that. So, Marcy, I'm gonna let you start off because I know you had you got a whole slew of questions, and your mind is running because I know how you do.
Okay, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start with Michael. Explain your title, please.
Okay. The title, Original Mind Disconnect, came. I wanted something that was kind of abstract, but once you read the book, you might have been able to figure out why I chose it. Original Mind, Africa is the birthplace of humankind, and that was
Okay.
where the first man and first woman. So that's where Original Mind comes from.
Mm,
Disconnect comes from what the ghost of his third great grandmother Sudi feels that he has become in some ways disconnected from a sense of self and value. He believes that he's pursuing his dream and of attaining a lot of wealth and power at the expense of other things, like certain things that comprises and makes up his humanity. So that's where disconnect comes from.
oh, Okay, that's interesting. Very interesting. I never would have connected it like that, but that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
So,
Well, what did you guys think the title? How did you what was your interpretation?
when I read the title, I got the feeling of somebody that was cuckoo, somebody that was disconnected to reality.
Uh-huh. Well, at times he kind of feels that way because the things she does to him, like take him on journeys back in time to the days of slavery, and it really tests his psyche, his spirit, and his soul. There was times when he was questioning himself throughout the story as the story progressed and as she got deeper and deeper, it was starting to wear on him, the things that she was forcing him to witness. So, yeah, he didn't go totally crazy. I didn't let him go there, but he had his moments there where he was like, "Wow, how much more of this can I take?" It's like, I get the point. What more do you want me to do? I get where you're coming from. Do I
Right.
have to keep going
Okay.
there?
Well, it's original, that's for sure.
Yes, yes. Okay.
All right, who's next? Who's next up?
Shayna?
Marcy, who's next up?
Shayna, we can just go around the mulberry bush. Sorry. Shayna,
Mm-hmm.
you're muted, hon.
Here we go. Sorry.
That's okay.
But my title, Mastering Your Brokenness, actually goes back to my first three books I wrote. And it's like kind of like the first book was called Mastering Mask Behind the Mask, and the other book was called Unveil the Broken Pieces of the Mask. Then you have the evolution of the mask. So Masking Your Brokenness is actually a visionary project that I decided to do after being in 38 other projects. So I
Wow.
decided to create my own vision and allow people to talk about how they were in the midst of their storm and how they master it and how they overcome the next things that they came to the other side of their stages.
Oh, okay, okay. And I noticed when I was looking up your other books, they're all referring to mask.
Yes.
Okay,
Is
okay.
there
Yes.
a reason for that?
It is because, all right, my journey started because I dealt with domestic violence.
Mhm.
So the fact of the matter is, a lot of times I feel that people wear so many faces. So it's like, why not talk about those things that we don't talk about? Let's get uncomfortable
Mhm.
and talk about the things we try to sweep under the rug. And another reason why it's a lot of things about mass is that if you look at me, you'll never know that I am diagnosed with 5 different health conditions.
Mm.
So my story is that regardless of the cards, you're definitely and unapologetically you.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's deep, girl. That's
Yes,
real
it
deep.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, wow.
Nadia, we want to hear from you next.
Yes, ma'am. So you want me to explain both?
Yes, ma'am. You have
Yes,
two books
please.
that are nominated.
All right. So I'll start with What's Your Superpower? So, What's Your Superpower is an anthology, and it is a collection of stories of women overcoming their adversity,
Hmm.
utilizing their God given superpower. And so 10 women contributed to this book, telling portions of their story that helped them overcome in hopes of encouraging the next woman to keep going, keep pushing, and to also tell her story because a lot of times our experiences aren't for us, they're for, testimony and
Mm-hmm.
to help others get over what they're going through.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And so the other book, A Mother's Prayer, Love Letters to My Daughter, that book came about during the COVID pandemic. One of my best friends of over 30 years, her mother passed due to COVID. And she was close to me like my mother because we were both only children and we were friends since third grade. And so I spent a lot of time at their house, a lot of time with them. And it really hurt when she passed. And so, in going through that little grieving process, it was like, what would she have wanted to tell Kim, which is my friend? before she passed. And that's where this book came from, A Mother's Prayer, Love Letters to My Daughter.
Oh,
And
wow.
so 30 women contributed their stories or their prayer or their letter to their daughter or their mother. So we had some ladies that had lost their mom and had a message for them. Some ladies had lost their daughters, had a message for them. And me personally, I am a mother of all boys. And so I was like, I can't even contribute anything. But of course, I did the dedication and some other parts of the book. But I had my mother contribute to the book, A Letter to Me. So this book is very special.
Oh, that's very, very noble.
Yes.
Oh my, it's almost like a dedication to your friend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome. Teresa, what about your book?
Yes. So, as you all know, I'm the author of I Can Just Try. And just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm affectionately known as Mother Dove. And so you see that on my name. But I'm also an educator, right? And I work with children every day. I've been working with children for such a long time. And I Can Just Try, to be honest, it was written back in 2017, but it came out in 2021. And I believe, and I truly believe, that the reasoning for that was because God told me not then, but now. It was during the time of the pandemic when so many children were giving up on themselves, and I wanted to change their narrative. I wanted to change their mindset. I Can Just Try is based on my story as a little girl, right? That fear of just trying, right? And I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to inspire young girls and boys just like myself, just like Terry, to remember that they can do anything if they just try. So you said it at the very beginning. It's an affirmation. I want them to take away repeating, I can. All I have to do is just try. And so that's really why I wrote the book, to inspire our young girls and boys to continue to believe in themselves.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Well, I'm a children's book author, so I love children's books anyway because I just feel like that's the stage where you're molding our future
Definitely.
adults. And so what they read, what they see on television, what they hear on the radio, that's something that's molding their minds. And to have positive things like your book, I just love to see that.
Yeah, it makes a difference at the very young ages. I really do believe. Like, you have to start when they're young so that they can grow up and to believe, like, I could do anything. And so that's why my focus is around the children and writing children's books.
And I love that. I've worked with children. For some reason, I always say I don't care for, I don't like kids, but I always end up around kids, and was over our youth ministry and at a high school. And I was grandma to everyone. It is so important when they're so much younger to get them at that, like you said, at that age, because a lot of times, like Gina was saying, about definitely all of the negativity out here that you're seeing, and it's things that are catchy. But when we have books like that, yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
It helps a lot, and I love it. I'm gonna have to get that.
So, Michael, how many books do you have out? And I muted you because there was some feedback. If you have another device on, turn off the volume on it. I'm not sure if you have. Sometimes people have their phone on and the computer. That'll give you feedback. So if you have another device, just cut the volume off on one of them. But once you're ready, I just want to know, how many books have you written? Is this your first book, 15th book? What number is this one? Take your mic off mute.
Michael,
can you take your mic off mute?
Cool.
There you go. You just put it back on. There. Okay, we're gonna play Ring Around the Mic. You good now? Don't touch anything.
Uh-oh. He's muted again.
You keep muting yourself. Okay, you're good.
I'm
Don't touch
unmuted.
nothing. Put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, which is this your first book, or do you have other books?
I've written books before. I started off really taking writing seriously in my late 20s, early 30s. I was starting to try my hand at writing screenplays and dabbled in a few independent films. And I said, well, let me make the transition to writing novels. So I wrote maybe about four novels before this one. This one is my first
Okay.
published original Mind Disconnect. And I have another
Oh,
couple of novels out on submission, so I'm waiting to hear some feedback about those two. So
are you're
Okay.
planning on publishing those as
yeah,
well?
this is my first go around here. It's been an experience. It's been eye opening. There's a lot more to it. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
definitely. I'll send them to some publishers, so I'm waiting to hear some kind of word, yeah and nay, as to, what the decision is. So yeah,
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, I can't
Okay.
wait till they get out.
Definitely.
Shayna, tell me about. I know you're reaching out to
and
the international audience. Tell me how that is. Like, what
Oh,
is that experience like?
it's amazing to be able to be international and globally able to do a radio show, being able to internationally have your books bought in Germany and UK, have your podcast heard in the UK and in Africa. It's amazing to be able to hit global status at this point. I started my career about 2019, so we're about to be hit 5 years, and I'm actually about to be
Ooh,
on book number 6. So it's been
ooh.
amazing. I can't even complain. All I say is the vision is bigger than me, and it's always a blessing to be able to touch and give people the power in their voice.
Okay.
You're doing a lot. I know you're on the BHC Media Network. You have
Yes,
your own podcast. You do
Music. You do music as well?
I do. I have an album out that's called "I Was Always a Rose in the Darkness of Love." Absolutely.
ooh, and where's
It's
that at?
it's on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon. It's on all the music platforms. I released that about almost 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and that was my first spoken word album that I did, and it was basically me doing poetry. My first 3 books were poetry, so it's like instead of just touching them with their eyes, touch them with their ears. And then
Mm,
there's where the radio and the podcast come in, because sometimes people not want to read, so I have to find other ways of being able to reach out and give them the healing that they deserve, and let them
mm.
understand of the worth of who they are
Come
regardless of
on.
what they've been through. So being able to give them my testimony and giving them a testimony and showing up for them, that's
Mhm.
my purpose. And I'm walking through it
Wow.
as each door is open.
Man, talking
Okay.
about wearing
Okay.
a lot of different hats.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
Wow.
besides just doing that, I also, with Sheena Master Motivation, I go to the shelters, and I have about 5 shelters that I
Mhm.
work with. And I go there and I teach them self motivation workshops. I give them building confidence building, teaching them healing after trauma. I teaching them, the signs of, the flags of, domestic violence. I teach them how to
Mhm.
show up for them. I give them, the knowledge to know that yes, I've been there and you can get where I am now, and being able to empower them where they are and to watch them grow and get those emails. It's even better because I just did a back to school drive and I was able to bless 21 kids in 4 shelters. So
Wow.
I'm just amazed at, being able to do what I do. And then I
Mm.
also just got the art and culture award from the YWCA as well. So
Ooh, look at you.
Okay. Okay.
Talking about wearing capes.
What
See,
state are you
Teresa?
in?
I'm in upstate New York. I'm in Troy.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
She has a cape on, Teresa. She has that superpower.
I'm
Yeah.
also in Nadia's letter to my daughter's book as well too. So
Oh, I did not know that.
hmm
Oh wow, you guys collaborated. So you two are two of the 10. Now I'm gonna say
hmm
this because they always say women can't come together. They always say when you have more than 2 women together, it's always
Not true.
bickering, and
not true.
you guys have shown them wrong.
Yeah,
10 women came together and wrote a book.
Yeah, and we
That's
have another one coming out.
Shayna is in the one that had the 30 women, the Mother's Prayer book. She's in
Yes,
this.
I'm in the Mother's Prayer
30,
book.
30 women.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I've been in.
Come back.
Huh?
I was messing with them.
Oh, and then I've been in a project with 90 women as well.
Wow.
It was called 90 Women Who Pray.
Oh,
wow.
Well, when you're praying, that's a good thing. You can definitely come together with that.
That's why there's so many blessings around here.
See?
You know, you can't do it without prayer.
Right.
That's it.
Teresa, you're in the education field, right? Special education?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you done that?
So I've been in special education since 2013.
A long
But I've been a
time.
teacher since 2010. Yep, and I also own my own tutoring business as well, Mother Does Academy. So
nice. Girl, teach them up, girl. Teach them up.
In the way in which they should go.
Come on, you better say that. You better say that.
We have to. We don't do it, then nobody will, right?
So you have a strong love for children.
I do. And surprisingly, I have yet to have my own, but my husband and I are expecting, so that's exciting.
Congratulations.
Wow. So you get to put out what you're practicing.
That's right. That's right. I'm extremely excited about that, to be able to actually inspire my own child too.
Right.
Yes,
oh my gosh, that has to be very, very exciting. Look at all of this positivity that's happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
Expecting a child, nominated for the Distinguished Authors Guild Literary Award Show. That's just it has to be overwhelming.
It is very overwhelming. I mean, I have just been smiling left and right, just trying to hold it all together and compose myself, but at the same time, so excited about all the blessings that God is really in storing into my life right now. I'm just,
Wow.
How do you guys balance being an author, going through the writing the books, family? If you have another job elsewhere, how do you guys balance all of that?
Michael, you start with that question.
You're muted.
There you go. He's fine.
By myself, I live alone.
We can barely hear you. Speak up just a little bit.
Because I'm a single man. I live by myself. Oh, can you hear me now?
That's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I did hear you say you're a single man. You live by yourself, so it's pretty easy for you.
Yeah, I'm a single man. Right, I can, my schedule is pretty flexible. I do like to write in the morning between 9 and 12, 9 and 1. I'm putting in about 4 hours of that. I just finished this book, Original Mind Disconnect, is going to be a trilogy. So I just finished the first draft of the second book. So, and I finished that the other day. I finished that. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and typing up the next draft. So that's where I'm at.
You're the first author I've met that said, I have plenty of time.
Okay. That's why I asked. How do you guys balance?
Now, Nadia, you're into beauty, correct? You cosmetology?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking at that hair and it's laid, girl.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I have been a cosmetologist for over 20 years. And so that is, of course, my primary occupation, but I am considered a serial entrepreneur with the other endeavors that I have. I also have a podcast called Power Conversations Podcast. I have a magazine also titled Power Conversations. And then other business ventures that I do. I also have a nonprofit that empowers women and the youth in the community. And so I stay pretty busy working all of those. But to answer the question regarding balance, I like to say there is, I don't like to call it balance because it's really never a real equal balance, but the alignment of it all, right? If you get it to align together, it just works so much better. And I do that by planning, right? Planning, scheduling, and staying, prioritizing that time, staying, grounded, because I have to have my family time. I've been a single mother for the past 16 years. And so juggling business, home, motherhood, being a soccer mom, which no one played soccer, but they played everything else. It got really, really hard. And, a lot of it is what pushed me to write, just to have an outlet, just to be able to express myself and be able to just let it out. Sometimes you just got to let it out. And writing has helped me with that.
We hear that a lot, that writing is therapeutic for
Oh, yeah.
most
Yeah.
authors, or
Yeah,
every time
that's true.
we speak to an author, that's what they say, it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
And but
Cathartic.
not only is it therapeutic to you, but it's therapeutic to others. And
Absolutely.
when I hear people say I started writing a book and I didn't finish, I always say finish that book. Somebody's waiting on it.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
about us. It's not about the author. It's
Not,
about the person that gets that book into their hands.
Yes.
Marcy,
definitely.
you had something to
Yeah,
say?
Nadia, where are you? You said you have a nonprofit that you help youth. Where are you
Right.
located? State.
I'm located
Actually,
in
Tanisha
Louisiana.
asked where you're located.
Oh,
In Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the capital city.
Oh,
okay, not
nice.
New Orleans. And
Not
I
New
go way down there
Orleans.
to. I can't go way down there to get my hair done.
New Orleans
Michael,
is not the capital city, but we love it.
but that's where my family is
New
from.
Orleans.
Michael, where are you
NOLA.
from?
NOLA.
Nolans. Where are you from, Michael?
Can you
I'm
hear
Michael,
in
us,
the
where
city
Michael?
of
you?
angels. I'm an Angelino, Los Angeles.
Oh, LA. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
LA.
And
Y'all been
Teresa?
burning up,
Oh,
floating
I'm here
away,
based, born and
sliding
raised in Los
away.
Angeles.
Teresa, and where are you from?
Of course,
Yeah. Oh, you hear
Chi-Town.
me?
Okay, okay,
You
Yes.
you're
hear me?
right here in this area. Okay, okay, cool. Okay, all
You're
right.
in the Chicago public schools, right, Teresa?
Yes, I'm a special education teacher for Chicago Public Schools.
Okay, I
Okay.
had a family member.
Bless you,
Especially that.
baby. Bless you.
Girl, you just don't know. Don't know the
So
whole
you
thing.
guys are everywhere. Isn't it wonderful to be able to come together? All these different cities and states come together in one place doing
Yes,
such
ma'am.
positive things. I absolutely love it.
What advice would you give new authors or someone that's looking to write a book? Like, were there different obstacles that you had to overcome? Self-publishing versus going to a publishing company. What advice would, and we can just go around starting with you, Teresa, would you give someone?
Absolutely. So I would have to say the first step is write it down. You actually gotta write your manuscript. It's so important to get it on paper and really get your message out there. The next step is to make sure that you are pushing yourself beyond the fear that you may have about
Mm-hmm.
putting it out there, right? A lot
Yeah.
of people are hesitant from, having other people to read it, to get their feedback, things like that. And I'm a huge proponent of share it. Of course, share with those in which you trust and get past that idea of, I don't trust nobody. You know,
Mm.
there are people in your circle, in your world, who love to provide you with support and feedback. So I encourage anybody that is trying to become an author, write their manuscripts and get it out there. Do not allow fear to hinder you from pushing through, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier, my message is beyond just for children. It's for adults too. Like I really want adults to also believe I can do anything. All I have to do is just try. And you really, really can. So don't stop and keep going. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, great message. Great,
Mm-hmm.
great message.
Anyone else would like to tackle that?
Come on,
Sure.
Shannon.
First, my advice would be to, first, you have to write it. Don't be afraid. There's faith over fear.
Mhm.
Next thing is there's someone connected to that testimony. There's the power in your voice. Your words matter and you matter. And don't be afraid to write it because you're fear of judgment or you're fear of, someone not liking it. There's someone and there's going to be someone that's not going to like it. Not everybody is for your story, but your story is for someone. So write the testimony, write the story. It's attached to somebody else that needs to get help and need healing, which I say you're dope, dedicated to other people empowerment.
Ooh, say
Okay,
that.
okay.
Say that. I'm noticing those photos behind you. Are you an artist too? Do you draw?
No, I actually got this for my first anniversary as an author when I performed in New York City.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
And it actually says strong.
I like that.
that is kind of look like Lauren Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, I was about to give you another hat.
okay.
I mean, I paint. I don't like draw. My daughter do all that. But I do a painting with the masses, and I do that as far as a workshop with them to actually teach people how to look at themselves in the mirror. I allow them to paint the mask and put their feelings on the mask so that now you can come from behind the mask because I'm known as the lady behind the mask. So I teach people how to be comfortable in their mask and to be comfortable taking it off. And that's why my last book was called The Evolution of the Mask. That's why we talk about mastering your brokenness. That's why we talk about unveil the broken pieces. That's why we talk about the mask behind that mask because there's so many faces that we put on ourselves. So, I like to get people uncomfortable to then make them comfortable.
Ooh, there you go. There
Okay,
you
okay.
go. Michael, do you have a specific publishing company that you use?
Yes, I'm with Atmosphere Press. They're based in Austin, Texas. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
what I use. I have
Okay.
a deal with them, a one book deal. So
All right. Awesome.
it's been going
You know,
pretty
Yeah,
good. Everything, the
and
people that works there, they're top notch. I worked with the art director on the cover. I worked with the editor. He gave me some good feedback. The CEO and the executive editor. He was the one that actually called me and offered me a deal. So
hmm.
it's been good so
There's a
far. I
lot of
really have no
pros and
complaints about it.
cons to using, publishers or self-publishing. What would be your take on it?
My take, it can be a good thing. You have to really, it's like a comparison shop. Really get out there and find out who's who and what's what and what they have to offer. And don't
Mhm.
jump on the first thing that comes along. Really do your homework and research and check them out. One of the drawbacks is with some, the financial output, you know, it can be a little high depending on what kind of package you get. So
Hmm.
that's something else to take into consideration.
Okay.
Self-publishing can be expensive. It has its pros and cons.
Okay.
What,
Nadia,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead, Marcy,
It's
and
a
then I'll
whole,
follow you.
I'll go a whole different route here. Sorry, my mind be popping like popcorn. I've looked at some books that have been published and their errors. After you guys have your people go through the books and all, do you guys read it before it's published? Just curious, because I'm not understanding, and it's not any of you guys, but I just don't understand when you. I don't understand that. Do you guys go through your book to make sure even after?
Nadia, I want to pose that question to you.
Yes, absolutely. And then I also, because most of my books I publish myself, I
Mm-hmm.
have several people go through them before I publish them.
Okay.
And I understand Marcy's question. One, because she's a reader, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
she a lot of times she comes back with feedback. This book has errors, and they absolutely cannot be nominated if they have
Mm-hmm.
errors because I don't know how many. There's never been a book that I picked up that was award winning that had
Mm-hmm.
an error in it, any
Yeah.
errors in it.
But you
And
know
so,
what?
if
Some of the
there are
books,
errors,
because we're actually told you don't have to read it if it's got errors in it. But because I love to read, I'll read the whole book, and I'm like, gosh darn it,
Oh
This
yeah.
would have been an award-winning book.
Sometimes it's
I
just an
get that
oversight,
all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it's an oversight. That's why I started doing that, is allowing other eyes, because sometimes even if we go through it, we may not catch it, And so I got 2 extra people on my team. So when the book is finished being formatted and edited, they can review it and send back the errors or correct the errors. And then, of course, when you publish, there's the spell checks and all that, but that stuff isn't as accurate as it is, as you would think as well. So you have to get some real eyes on it.
Yes. That is so
But your mind, that's because your mind will trigger what you want the
right.
sentence to say as opposed to
Absolutely.
what's actually on the page. And
Yes.
that's why it's not a good idea to edit your own book.
Yeah.
People, get an editor.
That's
Teresa, I have a question for
I
you.
wanted to just add to that really quick. That's why I really encourage people to share their manuscripts. Like, you can't be afraid to share it and thinking people are going to steal your work, right?
They
Because
will, Teresa.
I know that they will. That is very true.
Yep.
I'm not knocking that part at all. But you do have to allow somebody else to read your work.
Which you can
Like,
trust. Yeah.
and
Get it copyrighted, and you
Yeah.
won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But it is always good because I know I read my book, I don't know, 10 or 15 times, and I didn't see any errors. But then my publisher got it and she found errors. And I was like, how did I overlook that? I read it so many times.
Yeah.
So
Because
it,
you know what it should
but
be.
even with what Marcy's talking about, sometimes there may be a slight difference in the way people speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we may think it's an error, but it's their dialect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a book
We
like
don't
that.
we don't we don't toss books out because of that, because
No.
that happens. But the
Yeah.
one she's talking about, there's error after
Yeah.
error after error.
Grammatical
And we
errors.
just can't move we
The
just can't move
spelling.
forward with
Just
them.
my head start ticking. Like, wait. And I go back and I'm like, no, wait. I try to make it work, but it's like, no, it's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You had
Yeah.
something else to add to that, Teresa?
No, that was it. Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a question, and we're gonna start with Michael with this question. Natalie asks, how do you all get people to leave reviews for your books?
That's a good question. Anybody?
Well, the
We'll
ones
Anybody?
I
start with
have gotten, they
Michael.
have been on Amazon. Did you hear what I
Say,
just said? Oh, the
say that
ones
again,
that I
Michael. I
have
didn't
gotten,
hear
I've
you.
gotten on Amazon. Oh, okay. The reviews that I have gotten have been left on Amazon, the website. I have an
Were
author
they
page,
just people
so I
who
get reviews
wanted to
there.
leave them, or did you encourage people to leave them? How did you get those reviews?
It was a combination of both. Yeah. They have it set up
Okay.
on a page where, when people buy a book or if they recommend a book, then they have like a little blurb or paragraph they leave on the website. Just a word of mouth thing. It's just positive.
Okay. What about you, Shayna?
Well, I've gotten people that have done it just willingly, and then I've had where I've done incentives to where it's, hey, you leave a review, you get a chance to win a book. You know, trying
Okay.
to get them like, hey, my next book is coming. If you got my first book and you read it, please leave a review and you'll get a chance to read, you get a chance to get the next book. So, sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get reviews because you'll remind
Mhm.
people when they get the book, be like, hey, don't forget to go get a review.
Mhm.
But it's like a hit or miss, like my first book, I got 19 reviews. I got another book that might have 5, and you have numerous people buying it, but they just don't take the time out to give the review. So I remind people that it's very important to give that review because we need that to get more
Mhm.
sales. So
Yeah. And it's crazy because people they're quick to write a bad review,
Oh
Yeah.
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 but they won't leave a good review.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll
What
leave a
about you,
review on.
Nadia? What kind of techniques do you use?
So pretty much the same when I'm launching the book or the day of the launch, I ask people to leave a review. I do email marketing. I ask for reviews there. And then at my events, sometimes it's hard to get people to like type stuff. So if you can get them on video, that is great. And then I'll type them out myself and make it, either put it on my website or make it into a social media content or whatever. But pretty much just soliciting and working the crowd, like Shayna and Mr. Michael said, is just asking. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if you can catch them on the spot, like when they're saying, "Oh, I loved your book. Oh, well, come here. Let me get your review real quick," right? So that kind of stuff.
What anything you do different, Teresa?
Definitely besides like Amazon and Facebook, always anytime I send out an email on my listserv, at the bottom in my signature, I have, you can leave a review here, right? Just as an option for my followers. But the other thing that I do, when I do story times around the city of Chicago, so I do story times with Mother Dove around the city of Chicago as well as virtually. At the end of them, I always have a QR code where they can go and leave a survey. They fill out the survey, and at the end, of course, it's type up a quick review. How did you feel about the event? Things like that, I think, has been helpful. It is challenging, of course, because everybody don't want to do it. However, I have found that to be useful.
Awesome. That's a good idea. Very good idea with the QR code.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada on November 8th. How do you feel?
Wonderful. I'm excited about it.
We are going to have such a wonderful time.
I'm
I
excited.
don't know
Can't
if you
wait to be
guys
there.
have been on the site to see the past events, the past award shows, but they are on the Distinguished Authors Guild Facebook page. We started off virtually because of the pandemic. It was never intended to be virtual, but the pandemic said, "Oh no, you're not coming out." So we ended up doing it virtually for the first 2 years, and I'm glad that God moved us in that direction because we were able to reach people outside of our area. We had authors who were able to join that were in other cities and all across the United States, as opposed to Northwest Indiana in Chicago. So that was truly a blessing to have that door open. And so last year was the first year that we were live, and we were live in Las Vegas. And I'm telling you, we had a wonderful time. This is a time where we celebrate you guys, because I know I'm an author. I know how hard it is to write a book. People walk get it out off the shelf, out the trunk of your car, off of Amazon, Books a Million, Walmart, and all they see is the finished product. They don't see that in between time of the 2 to 10 years that you had to put that book to the
That's
side,
right.
or those nights when
Work
you
behind
get
it.
up at 3 in the morning
Sorry.
to write as much as you can write, or going to bed at 3 in the morning because you're writing or blogging or logging. And we just want to celebrate all the hard work that you're putting in.
Yes.
Is it Shatanya? Shaitanya Flowers. Shaitanya Flowers says, Teresa, what's next for you? Is there a second book in the works?
Yes, actually, I should be having my second book coming out very, very soon. I would have to say this, it should have been out, but no woman who have had babies already told me what that first trimester really is about.
Oh, pobrecita.
So yes, hopefully it will be out now that I'm in my second trimester. I can get it out very, very soon.
Oh,
You have to wait to get it so that you can read it and be excited just as much as I am.
awesome. And then Maurice has a comment. He said maybe you could do something like a subscribe button where they can leave a verbal review. that take. I don't know. I don't know how to do all
That's
that,
yeah.
Maurice. You gonna have to help them out with
Yeah, you
that.
don't
You
want
know,
to
you the
tell us
tech
all that.
guy. I ain't it.
Uh,
Natalie said, and I just want to say, Natalie is a two-time Distinguished Authors Guild winner. This is her third submission, and she's been nominated for her third book, which is a romance book. She's in the romance category. So she's been around to see a few years of Distinguished Authors Guild. But she said Vegas was off the chain, and it's going to be off the chain again this year. I guarantee
November
you it
8th.
will be off the chain again. So I want to know what's next for all of you. We just heard what's next for Teresa. Michael, what's next for you?
Yeah. So, Michael, what's next for you?
Hello?
Can you hear
We
us?
can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, yeah. Just like I said a few minutes ago, I just finished the second book in the trilogy that's going to be, the first one is Original Mind Disconnect. The second book is going to take place 7, 8 years later when he's in his mid 40s, and Original Mind Disconnect, he's in his mid 30s. And then the final book, the third book, he'll be someplace in his 50s on the verge of retiring and bringing along a new generation of agents that he's training and schooling in the ways of, working and becoming successful in the world of sports agents. So
You setting
that's
that
where
up
I'm
where
at
you
right
could
now.
have like
That's
4
the
or
path I'm
5
on.
trilogies, just keep going with that.
Mike, is this
Yeah, that's
about
that's
you?
that's the idea. That's something to think about.
Are your books about you?
No, no, it's not. It's not all about. It's not all about.
Okay.
Mm, some aspects of the characters are about me. Not 100%, but a little bit of me is in my characters, my protagonist. Yes, somewhat.
Okay. Okay.
Where can we get your books?
With Jericho, you can get my book on Amazon. That's the place. That's where it's selling. Right now, I'm working on bookstores here in LA. There's a bookstore, black owned, here in LA called Malik Books. He's in 2 locations, 2 different malls. He's agreed to sell my book. I have another bookstore on an independent store out in Pasadena, black owned. She's on a potentially will sell my book as well. So, and I've reached out to other bookstores around the country. So I'm waiting to hear some kind of feedback. So I've been doing a lot of the
Great.
leg work myself because I find as a writer, I
Mm-hmm.
well, it's almost expected that you have to do a lot more work yourself nowadays because a
Mm-hmm.
publisher, if you're with a publisher, they're not going to do all the work themselves 100%. So as a writer, you really
Mhm.
have to get out, and that's something else that I've learned along the way. It's been like train, learn as you go. So I've been doing that. The getting in contact with like you guys, applying for awards, contests, calling bookstores, trying to get my book sold, getting marketing, that type of things. My publisher did some, but I had to do most of the heavy lifting myself. So,
That's what
which
you
I'm
do.
not
Mhm.
complaining about because it is my book and I wrote it, and I don't mind getting behind it. And I don't mind getting behind it and doing the promotion and the marketing and the hyping and whatnot. So, I'm there 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And most people think when you get a publisher, they're gonna do all that leg work for you. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
You're your best marketer. Where can we get your book, Shayna?
Well, you can find my books on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart.com, or you can actually contact me, which on my website is www.shinamastermotivation.com. And
Awesome.
also, what's next for me is that my children book, my second one actually, is coming out, which is gonna be Come and Learn Your A's to Z with me, which is my co-authors are my daughters. And it's basically they learn their alphabets, but they also get affirmations like A for apple, but A for amazing, B for bat, but B for Bravo, C for cat, but T for
Oh, I
Okay.
friend.
love it.
Just give them something
Neat.
different than just the regular
Mm-hmm.
learn and trace my A to Z, just give them a different way and also plant the seed early. Then also, and I am in 2 other anthropologies that are coming out, which is Powerful Women, Powerful Prayers that will be out next month. And then also Invisible Soul will be out next month as well. And I'm
Wow.
working on my next album, which is called The Evolution of the Mass.
Oh, you are
Okay.
busy.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You caught my attention when you said learning your A to Z's, because we grew up hearing learning your ABCs,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
but she
Yes.
said learning your A to Z's,
Disease.
which
Yeah.
really caught my attention.
Gotta be different.
Are you doing music with that as well?
The
Like
album that's
jingles?
coming out. I might have to get that into the kids. Maybe we might. We might. That's a thought. We might.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, drop them nuggets, Marcy.
Change
Cause
that
my
whole
kid.
ABC song.
Right.
Change it to the A through Z songs. Yeah. And
Right?
when how you're saying with the affirmations,
Mm-hmm.
that would
And I
be
mean, I definitely can produce it because my boyfriend, he actually does the music to my actually my intro to my show. So
Oh, I love her
yeah.
intro. If
okay.
you guys have not seen it, Power in Your Voice, the intro had me mesmerized. I was sitting there like, girl, after hearing that intro, I'm so motivated.
And that was the purpose of it. Dr. Carol gave me, being that I'm a poet, she said, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes at the beginning of your intro. And I'm like, all right, best way to empower people, because my show is called The Power in Your Voices, give them the affirmations to understand that they're powerful regardless of where they are, where they may end up.
Mhm.
You got to know that the power is in your voice and that you're powerful, you're confident, you matter, and you're worthy of who you are, but you got to believe it. So.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Nadia, what about you? What's next and where can we find your book?
Yes, ma'am. So we have the launch of Powerful Women, Powerful Prayers on October 16th. We also are recruiting co authors for the What's Your Superpower anthology, part
Mm.
two. That'll be launched next year, but we are recruiting. And we also are including a docu-series with this volume. So the authors will have an opportunity to tell their story on camera as well as it being captured in the book. And I am also searching for co-authors that know how to cook. So I am producing
A
a cookbook
cookbook.
anthology.
Pull
Yes.
Wow.
out my recipes.
Yes, pull them out. So it's called Extraordinary Things
Mhm.
Happen When Boss Women Cook. And so
Ooh.
it is an anthology
Mm.
where we will all bring our favorite recipes that, warm the souls of our family, and just bring them together, different categories. There's your entrees, your desserts,
Wow.
every area of the food. And so yeah, that's our new venture for
I
2024.
love that.
That sounds
Man,
nice.
that's unique. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah,
I
I
like that
love
one.
it.
Yeah.
thank you.
Teresa, other than having a baby, what's next?
Well, like I said before, my second book should be out very, very soon. My hope is for it to come out by November of this year. Um, I'm also going to be continuously my series. So Terry, my character in my book, her name is Terry, and so she will have a series of other books to come as well. So please look out for her. Please continue to purchase. I can just try because my goal is to really, really get it on a global scale so that we can continue to inspire all of our girls and boys around the world.
Yes.
Um, of
Yes.
course, of course, I'm going to continue to try and get into bookstores and grocery stores and things like that, as I think that's a very important way of inspiring kids as well.
Mhm.
I'm also wanting to get this book into the it's a digital copy, but I also want for children to be able to hear it as well. So an
Mm.
audio book is
Mhm.
next where I can just try because I think I do a great job at reading it.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, you had asked the other question of how to go
Where
about.
to purchase it? Yep.
Yeah, you can definitely find the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble online, Books A Million online, as well as a few other platforms. But you can also go to my website, which is motherdoveskidz.com, and you can get a signed copy there, in which I provide a whole just experience with the book on my website. And so, yeah, you can do that, or you can book me for story time with Mother Dove. And purchase
There
it.
you go. I love it. Tanisha says, there's power all up and through here tonight.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Eva
Yes.
says, love this. Very informative. I agree with you. Man,
Mhm.
I'm so hyped. I cannot wait till November 8th. You guys are so amazing. If you have not purchased your ticket, go to Eventbrite, code word Distinguished Authors Guild. Purchase your ticket, come out to Vegas with us. If you can't come out, you can use your ticket virtually. So you still get to enjoy in the excitement, and the funds from ticket sales goes towards scholarships for freshman
Freshman.
students in college in the
Mhm.
writing field. So we are helping to put out more awesome authors like these that you've seen all week.
Yes.
Man, I am so geeked. I
Yes.
want to
This is
thank
gonna.
each and every one of you for coming on.
Yes.
This platform is open to all of you. When those next books come out, hit me up so we can bring you back on here. And good luck to all of you. Good luck to you. And I can't wait to see you in Vegas on November 8th.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week. We're ready to keep rolling and being positive and entertaining, educating, and motivating.
Yes.
So this is Jordan Gray from